Yo, what's going on, AP people? We have a video for you on the Alien and Sedition Acts, a very important concept that you will need to know that happened in the late 18th century. Let's get going. All right, so to understand the Alien Sedition Acts, we need to go back in time a little bit and understand two treaties that happened in the 1790s. And the first one is Jay's Treaty, which happened in 1794, named after the first Chief Justice of the United States, John Jay. This is a treaty with Great Britain. Now, Britain promises as a result of this to leave some posts or forts, most notably in the northwestern part of the United States, like a Fort Niagara, for instance. And they also promise to pay for damages for seized ships, and that is impressment. So what's happening during the 1790s is France and England have a beef going on, and England is starting to essentially kidnap or take American soldiers or merchantmen and make them a part of the British Navy, and they were damaging some ships. A lot of people, particularly in the North, were upset. So Jay travels to Great Britain and they work out this treaty. Now, the South is going to be very upset about this because the North is getting compensated for damages when the South really is getting nothing out of this. So they're upset and they feel that this treaty favors the North too much. You'll actually see all throughout the country that John Jay will be burned in effigy. So people will make dummies of John Jay, tie him to a post, and then burn him. And you would see this quite frequently. He was not well liked as a result of Jay's treaty. Now, Pinckney's Treaty happens in 1795 the next year, and this is a treaty with Spain, and it allows the U.S. to navigate the Mississippi River, and they also get something called the right of deposit in New Orleans. So if we look down here in New Orleans, we'll notice that's right down here, and here's the Gulf of Mexico. This is a very important port for them. And right of deposit means that the United States can store goods in New Orleans to sell. And this treaty also fixed the Florida boundary. So we look here, we see this line going across here. So everything below this line is going to be Spanish Florida. Okay, and how does this lead to the XYZ and the quasi-war? Well, the XYZ affair is an issue between the United States and France. France is very upset with the U.S. for signing Jay's treaty. They feel that the U.S. is being too friendly with Great Britain. So the U.S. sends three commissioners to go to France, led by John Marshall, who becomes the fourth Chief Justice of the United States. They approach three French agents, and their names are never revealed. They're called X, Y, and Z, and these three agents demand a bribe. So here's a picture. We have John Jay and the two other commissioners, and this French guy's like, ho, 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 give me a bribe. It's a terrible French accent. But anyway, the guy wants $250,000. The U.S. absolutely refuses to pay. The commissioners come back home, and John Marshall is seen as a hero. The U.S., as a result, now this is under President John Adams, begins to prepare for war with France. Now, for a couple years, we have an undeclared naval war between the United States and France. We see a U.S. ship here attacking a French ship. They're going back and forth, and this is a direct result of the XYZ affair, which is a direct result of Jay's treaty. The U.S. captures many French ships, and then the quasi-war will end a couple years later when this guy comes to power, Napoleon Bonaparte. And he starts to focus on conquering Europe. So the next thing that's going to happen is the XYZ affair is going to lead to something called the Alien and Sedition Act. So you need to ask yourself, how is this happening? Well, let's figure out what the purpose is first. The Federalist, and keep in mind, President John Adams is a Federalist. He and the Federalists wanted to silence their opponents, most notably the Democratic Republicans led by Vice President Thomas Jefferson. Many Democratic Republicans supported the French, and the Federalists tended to side with Great Britain. So there are two separate acts, and the Alien Act made it more difficult for foreigners to become U.S. citizens. It actually increased the waiting period from 5 years to 14 years before they could become citizens. It also gave the president the power to deport any foreign citizens. Now, the Sedition Act, which was passed at the same time, made it illegal to criticize the government, and especially President Adams. And he says, criticize me and you will be punished. Now, this is a direct violation of the First Amendment, but it's passed anyway. Both laws are set to expire in 2 years, in the year 1800. In case the Federalists lose in the election of 1800, this law can't be used against them. And at this point, the Supreme Court had not established the principle of judicial review, or allowing the Supreme Court to declare laws unconstitutional. Now, any multiple choice questions you will see that ask about the Alien and Sedition Acts will ask, what is the purpose? And the purpose is to stop people from criticizing either the Federalist Party or John Adams. So look for that answer. The Alien Sedition Act leads to one of the most important philosophies in United States history, the Virginia and Kentucky resolutions. And this is based on the theory of nullification, which states that individual states can nullify or void federal laws. And the Virginia and Kentucky resolutions were written by two people. Kentucky was written anonymously by Jefferson, who was the sitting vice president. He's on the right. And Virginia was written by James Madison, the future president of the United States as well. And they used something called the compact theory, which said that the states were the ones that voluntarily joined the Union, and they are the ones that had the real power. So they could ultimately decide if the federal government overstepped its boundaries, and they could pick and choose which federal laws to enforce. This is a theory that will be around for a very long time, even though it's more symbolic than anything. No other states adopt the Virginia and Kentucky resolutions. But we're going to get in the 1830s and 1860s, the South is going to play on this idea, especially this guy. Why is this guy so scary looking? John C. Calhoun. And he's also going to encourage states to nullify a federal law when he was vice president. So we'll see this idea used again and again in the future. Okay, that's it for the Alien and Sedition Acts. Hopefully after this video you're able to tell how Jay's treaty ultimately led all the way to the Virginia and Kentucky resolutions with those steps in between. Subscribe to my channel if you have not already, please. I will be updating many videos throughout the year. If you have any questions, comments, ideas for videos, leave them in the comment section for me. And we'll be coming back to John C. Calhoun, and maybe we'll figure out why the guy's so scary looking. All right, thanks for watching. Have a good day, guys.